Welcome to LoveliEsteem. I'm Lovely, the auntie you always wanted, the sister girlfriend you didn't know you needed, honey. You gotta have self-love to have self-esteem, and here we know that God don't make no junk. So we're gonna sit down, talk about it, and see how we can fix it, baby. Let's do it. Hey guys, this is Lovely with LoveliEsteem, and welcome back to a new podcast. That's not what I want to say. Not at all. Hey guys, this is Lovely with LoveliEsteem, and welcome back to Healing Through Conversations. Today we have a wonderful guest, Miss LeyAllDay, who is actually a beautiful and wonderfully smart attorney in the daytime, and who is a personal style strategist every other minute thereafter. One of the things that I loved when I met Ley was her openness to helping people. I loved her confidence. I loved her resilience. I loved her, and I continue to really enjoy talking with her about what her future looks like, right? She has been a very staunch believer that she just happens to be an attorney, but she's so much more than that. And I think when we get to listen to this podcast, we'll understand that you can be so multifaceted in your love and your passion and your understanding and your education, right? And I love that Ley is really here to help women transform themselves into the versions of themselves that they didn't even know that they needed to be introduced to. So I hope you guys enjoy the podcast. Hey guys, this is Lovely with LoveliEsteem, and welcome to the Healing Through Conversations podcast. Today we have a really fun episode that is near and dear to my heart. We have fashion, we're going to name it, we're fashion icon and a spy. We're going to call her a style. We're going to think of something good because I don't want it to just be like, and she's a stylish woman. No, she's absolutely thinking about futuristic ways to look at what style means to you, how to build your confidence with style, how to blend your style with your corporate and or non-corporate. Maybe you're soloprenista trying to figure it out. I think that when we're talking about something that is so uniquely you, being able to talk to Miss LeyAllDay really just gives me a little bit of joy because I think when it comes to fashion, we're all kind of led to be the same sheep on a consistent basis. We're like brown, black, blue, gray. So if you pop out with some lavender, you pop out with red, it's like, oh, where you going? You have a job interview? And it's like, no, I just feel really good about who I am today. So today we're going to be talking about not only just how fashion has helped really change Ley's ideas about herself, but how she can help you change your ideas about yourself or even enhance who you are. So, Miss LeyAllDay, thank you for coming on the podcast. Please introduce us to yourself.
You so much for having me, Lovely. I'm so excited to be here. So my name is Letam Duson, but everyone calls me Ley, including my mom. And so that is why I named my business LeyAllDay. So I am a full-time attorney. I'm a stylist, image consultant. I'm a speaker, and I love helping professionals look their best and feel their most confident. And that is really become my passion. I did not really know I had a creative side, but this has shown me that I do and I'm good at it and it fills my cup. So I'm so excited to talk with you about this topic.
Yes, and let me give you guys a little background. Ley came to my job and she was doing a presentation and I'm watching her because I can't go to the presentation in person. I'm like sitting on Zoom, ironic, and watching Ley give this beautiful presentation about not only clothing options, but she was so very inclusive with the clothing options, different shapes of your body, how the clothes that you wear make you feel, colors, the limbs, and also what it looks like to celebrate yourself in your clothing. And I was like, I couldn't go to this meeting, but when I meet her, and we just happened to meet at a dressed up event again, where she was outside slaying. And I was like, okay, so I'm not stalking you because you don't really know me, but Hello. Well, actually, I think I reached out on Instagram because I wanted to instantly like connect you with who I was. I'm like, hey, you did an amazing job. Thank you so much for being here and talking to them about that. But can you talk about what really took you down this path from not only the corporate side, but really thinking about the stylish side? What helped you introduce yourself to your creative side?
I've always loved fashion. I was lucky that from a young age, my mom let me express myself through clothes, through my color contact phase in high school. She always just let me do what I wanted. So I've always loved fashion, expressing myself. And a few years ago, well, I guess it's more than a few now, 2020, at the time, I was in private practice and I was billing hours. And I just was like, man, this is not enjoyable. And so I just decided, you know what? I'm going to make a brand new Instagram that's just going to be outfits and travel and food, the three things that I love and that are really passions of mine. And so I started this Instagram and it was Lay All Day. And the funny thing about the name Lay All Day, where that came from, my close friends knew at the time I always thought I wanted to be a judge. And so I told them, I was like, well, in Maryland, it's political, you got to campaign, all this stuff. And my one friend who's not in law at all, she's a nurse, she said, well, for your campaign, it'll be vote for Lay All Day. And so
Oh,
that is where the name actually came from. It was related to something law, but now it is not at all. And so I made this Instagram with the name Lay All Day, and I did this kind of teaser of something's coming, and I launched with this countdown to Christmas. And it was a countdown of outfits to Christmas, 12-day countdown. And as I was posting, people started commenting, do you do styling? Or they were DMing me, and I just kept saying no. But after the fifth person, I thought, well, maybe there is a calling, a need, And so that's really how this came about. And I've always loved clothes and fashion, but I didn't realize that, putting the looks together and the accessories, everything is a really creative thing. And so while I'm not, a thespian or a musician, this is a creative side. It was a creative outlet. And then it turned out I can make a business of this. Yes, I could make money from it, but I could also help people. And when
mm-hmm.
I see my friends, my clients, my family get excited and they're feeling more confident, that is really what makes me happy. And so money is great or whatever, but that is really not why I do this. I really do this to help people, to help them find what brands work for you, what styles may you want to try and get pushed out of your comfort zone a little bit. So that's how this came about. I never planned on having a business ever. I thought I was going to be career prosecutor. And that's why I was in private practice at the time. I was a prosecutor for 4 years in Baltimore, and I decided, oh, well, I want to be a judge, so let me be well-rounded. So I decided, let me go into civil practice and get both. And then it was in civil practice, I decided I do not want to be a judge. So I am actually back to public service while I do the business in my quote free time.
Yes, which is what, 3 hours in a week, maybe, maybe. Because
After
I
work and
do
weekends.
understand that you are out here working. Because I'm like, I will say that every time I look, there's a different background. I'm like, she is outside, and I am petrified because I'm like, girl, do you sleep? No, no,
Much.
no, I don't need to. So when you were back in the day, little A. What kind of vibe was Little A?
Little Lay was ultra feminine, very girly. And I have one of the pictures I post a few times a year is I am in this pink dress. I've got my pink heart sunglasses and my pink purse, and I'm in the backyard just stunting. So Little was frou-frou fluffy dresses and lace, and I'm still very, feminine and love all that. But yes, I've always been a girly girl for sure.
I see you. The all I could think was Pretty in Pink because that's like one of my favorite movies, and Molly Ringwald was like my girl. So like anything that was like fully pink and alternative was like my like okay, like I can make that work. I'm also like Diane Carroll and like all the beautiful women who like really just Grace Jones like is like so avant-garde in the way that they presented themselves, which is very different than the world that we have to live in. So like when you when you are introduced to a new client and they're like, "Hey, I need to look more corporate friendly, but I still want to be me." What's your advice to them?
First thing I always do with all potential clients, actual clients, I have them fill out a questionnaire. And one thing I think is super important in the foundation of any sort of wardrobe is figuring out what your personal style is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the number one thing, Lovely. So you got to know that first before you start kind of building this wardrobe of whatever image you want to portray. And I tell people when they say, well, how do I figure that out? I always say, let's think of three adjectives, three to five, but at minimum three, that describe how you want to be perceived. Like, how do you want people to see you? And then from those adjectives, that helps me kind of narrow down what stores, what styles. I ask, are there certain colors and prints you like? Are there certain ones you avoid? I always ask why for all these questions as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so if we get those answers, someone might say, oh, I don't like color or whatever, but then they have beautiful skin that a bright color is going to pop off of, then I'll be like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, maybe we'll try something, right? So I try to get these background questions first, get a foundation for where we are. And then once I have the answers, it gives me an idea of where we should start. And then, so for corporate clients, well, I'm like, well, what are those three adjectives? And when we come with those, for example, I'll use myself. So I always want to be feminine, polished, and professional looking. And so anything I buy is at least one of those three things, but hopefully all three.
Mm-hmm.
So I will do that for my clients, depending on those words they give me. And it's not just those type of things, Lovely. It also could be, let's say, comfort is really important to you, or
Yeah.
ease of getting dressed. That helps me determine what sort of pieces we should be looking for, and also budget as well. And then that can help me
Yeah.
figure out, what brands, what stores, and all that good stuff. And then from there is how we kind of tailor the wardrobe. And my thing is, I always want people to be themselves, because you can wear the most expensive luxe thing, but if it isn't you, if you don't feel comfortable in it, then you're not going to be strutting and confident the way that I want all my clients to be. And so you really have to be true to yourself, though,
Mm-hmm.
right? So my
Mm-hmm.
goal isn't to make you do a lot of crazy things and jump out of your comfort zone too much. I want you to be essentially the best version of yourself. That's what I'm trying to help you do.
Yeah. No, and I agree with you because I think when I think about my personal style, I'm like I've narrowed it down to three, but this is over years because I love fashion. Um, I I just it is a part of who I am without me even thinking about it. It's a subconscious part of who I am, which is, I think you feel the same way. Like you just wake up and you have a version of yourself in your head that you want to see every day, and you're gonna make that thing happen no matter what. And I'm like, mine's would be modest, Hollywood, goth. Those are my three
Oh.
things because I don't like showing my legs. Not good or bad, but that's just I like kind of but I also love that Hollywood kind of silhouette, and I love a good I'm like there's so many shades of black and gray, but I can pop out on a yellow and throw you all on the floor if I had to. So I love that you give people the autonomy to figure out, and I think sometimes you probably open up their eyes to things about themselves that they've forgotten because you just get stuck in I'm just going to wear gray pants, a white shirt, and some black shoes. Like they just get stuck and they forget that you used to love this color and it looks so beautiful and brings out your eyes, or it looks really good with your highlights that you just received, and it gives them a bit of confidence. And so talk about that when you see your client, like the aha moment for them.
Fun. I'm thinking of one of my recent clients. She is a teacher, and she's gorgeous, amazing body, But for some reason, she was a little self-conscious. And so even to hire me took a little while. And when she eventually did, I could tell she was a little apprehensive. But once we did our first call, I think she thought, okay, I'm not going to push her too much. And
Mhm.
so we went to the mall. We got her some basics. Well, first we went to a bra store. So we did like basics. So we
Yes.
started with undergarments, right? Made sure we had the under foundation great. And then after we went to the mall, went to a few stores. And as we went, she got more comfortable, which was great. And she was trying new things. And she even said to me at the end, I really enjoyed this because you pushed me on my comfort zone a little bit, but not too much. And so she
Hmm.
tried new things. And all my clients, I always have them send me a full body picture before we start. So I have an idea of their body shape and things like that. And for her, it was hard to find one. She's like, oh, I'm always hiding behind my sons in pictures. And I told her, well, by the end of when you're done with me, I was like, we won't be hiding. My clients don't hide. And so like a month or two after she was done kind of her package, her 3 month package, she's sending me pictures. She went to a wedding and 4th of July and all these pictures, and she's acting the front of pictures now, and she's happy. And so that just made me seeing where we started to where she was so exciting, and it just made me so happy. And so that's what I enjoy. That's really my goal, is that you try new things, you get out of your comfort zone a little bit, but ultimately you feel more confident. And then she was going out on, her date nights. Because when I said, what do you and your husband do? And she's like, oh, not much. But she said, oh, we have a date night. I'm going to wear this outfit that you picked out for me. I said, oh my gosh. And she was excited. So that just is the feeling I'm going for. That's my goal with all my clients. Make them feel confident, make them happy, want to be the center of attention, want to be in those pictures. That's my goal because they should shine.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that you really touch this space that when we are talking about fashion, we sometimes forget, because the idea of the outfit in your head has to manifest on a real body, right? And that real body has lumps and bumps and rolls. It doesn't matter how fit you are. You can be I mean, like your abs could be flat, but when you sit down, your body still moves. Learning how to really wear clothes that fit your body, but undergarment. How so for me, undergarment top tier. I can put a dress on and make it work, but like undergarment and finding the proper fitting bras and underwear for the outfit. Can we talk about that?
Yes, I mean it's key, and that's why when I'd asked her first, I said, "When's the last time you did bra fit?" She goes, "It's been years," and so I made sure we went to a local boutique. It's called Fabulous Fits in Baltimore County, and the owner is fantastic, and she felt comfortable as well with the owner of the store, so which was great because that's also an
Mm-hmm.
intimate thing, bra fitting.
Yes.
And so, but yeah, I wanted to show her we got to start at the basics, the foundation. So, yes, proper undergarments are, I don't think people think about that and stress it enough. But, you've got to have the proper underwear. If you're wearing something, something tight or whatever, make sure we have some seamless. I personally don't really like bra straps showing, so we want to make
Yep.
sure we've got our strapless bras, we've got our backless bras, our sticky bras, kind of whatever you need, our boob tape, all of that stuff. And so, but, for my clients, I actually send you a bag when you work with me. I call it a go bag, but it has these tools in it so that you're going to feel comfortable, the fashion tape and all that good stuff. So undergarments, super important. And I think a lot of people don't kind of check on those so much. So I would
Yep.
say at least, every year, let's check we have things that don't have holes and that fit right, and our bodies change. So make sure you are getting fitted for bras and things like that pretty, seasonally or at least yearly, to make sure everything's fitting right, because you want it to fit right, lay right. You want it to be comfortable. You don't want your bra too tight, all those things. And that all goes back to feeling confident, right? We've got the right undergarments. I'm not wondering, oh, is this showing? Is that showing? Um, so super important, I would say.
Yeah, no, and I always, whenever people approach me, you look so, I'm like, you know how hard my undergarment is working to keep this body together? Because I used to say, there's nothing worse than a tight bra that makes you look like you have more going on in the back of your body, squeezing out everything and cutting. So now when you look at the dress, the version of you had it that you had in your head looks so very different. So it's like learning how to also fit your bodies and learning how to be we have to get to a place where we learn to accept the body that we have and be grateful for that body, because somebody is looking at you right now going, man, I wish I had that body. Like, it's just the way, and we don't learn that sometimes until we get older, because we beat ourselves up so bad just based off of systemic ways that we're taught we're supposed to look. And I think that that was something else that really made me appreciate you so much more, because you didn't come in as this tall model woman. You came in as Lay, right? And you said, I'm going to show you how I dress me. And if you become my client, I'm going to show you how to dress you, instead of it being one of those what you need to do and what you need to have. And if you don't have, which then isolates so many people when you're talking about fashion. So I think for me, being a black woman, I just think we're fly in general. Like, in general, I just think we are. But how has not only being a black influential woman in law and now changing some of it, because I think law will be with you forever. You just happen to be one of those professional women who is going to be able to pull all those spaces. Like, how has it really affected your relationships with others and how they see you become such a confident and open person?
That's a fantastic question. I've always been pretty confident after, the awkward high school, that stage, right? But I've from that point on, I've been pretty confident. And I think what's been really interesting is, as an attorney, for a lot of us, that is our full identity. It is not my full identity. It is my occupation, and it's my salary, which is all good. But that really, I'm not one of those people where that was solely me. So when I decided to start this business, it was really, I don't know the word. It was surprising but refreshing that so many attorneys were my first clients and were supporting me because they said, "Oh my gosh, we love that you're following your passion." And they're like, "I don't think I could do it or do something else right now." And, we're about mid-career, but we love that you're following it. And so that's honestly how I got a lot of my first clients, which I didn't realize that, a lot of us in that kind of over a decade of being in practice start to feel a sort of way and look for other hobbies and things. But people have been very supportive, and it honestly just boosts my confidence. And I've always, liked to dress up, but now it's so funny. I go to events and people are like, "Oh, I made sure I dressed good because I knew you were going to be here." And it is really funny because I'm never judging anybody's outfits. That's not, that's not my goal. That's not my thing. I want you to rock what you want to rock. But yes, now people, or they just ask me questions at events. It's very fun. I love it. I love talking fashion. So, for my confidence, and honestly, I would say it probably has boosted it too, because I'm a trained attorney. I'm not a trained businesswoman, but I've become a great businesswoman and learned these
Mm-hmm.
things. And so I just feel proud of myself and even more confident, not only in law, but in building this business that I have and that is my baby. So it's been fun, and I haven't really got any haters or anything, which is great. I mean, if they are, they've been silent. So but it's been great, and I would say people have been super supportive. So it's probably boosted my confidence even more. And I tell people I don't really need that, but it can't hurt, I feel like. So I'll tell you a funny story, Lovely. So one day I was speaking on a panel, and it was before the panel, and I was in the bathroom, and I made sure I had like a great outfit on, and I thought I was alone in the bathroom. And so I said in the full-length mirror outside the stall, "You look so good." And then I realized in the far stall the door was closed, and someone This is what I do. I hype myself up. I work to look good. So I just, if you don't love yourself. Oh, so yes, I'm all about confidence and maybe it is overflowing.
No, and but you know what? Let me tell you something. You have in you what creates the safe spaces for other people to live, right? Sometimes you have to see a person be what you want, right? And if you meet a person who is confident but still kind and open, who still creates safe spaces, because everybody doesn't show up like everybody's version of confident looks so very different, right? And sometimes you have just been through life. Maybe this is your first time going out after having kids. Maybe this is your first time going out after having been a divorce. Maybe you just got married and you're trying to figure out what that life looks like. It's your first year out of law school. What does that look like? And being able to see somebody who is confident, not in a like not in a conceited way, but like holistically, I'm a happy, joyful person. And I want you to come get some of this joy. Like, if we can all be joyful in this room, the world will be such a better place. But sidebar, I can make sure you look fly while we do all of these joyful things, which I think is so beautiful. And I love the fact that you talked about the duality of the human, of being human, right? Yes, you are an attorney, but you're also a beautiful woman. You're also a fashionista. You're also now a solopreneur. Like we get to do all of these things and still be lay. Like I'm still me at the end of the day, but you give other people hope to be a little more bold in how they present themselves. And so, what would you say? What does the phrase dress for the life you deserve? What does that mean to you?
Just for the life you deserve means that you want to look and feel your best, and then all those other things will come, right? And so for me, that means if I want to be confident and be successful and get in certain spaces and things, I know that I need to look a certain way. And I'm not going to be in sweatpants, maybe at home, right? But when I'm out, I have a certain image I want to portray. It's authentic to me,
Mm-hmm.
but I think you have to be smart. And so we have to be honest. People are visual. So if you want to portray something, then physically your physical appearance needs to do that. And so that's why one thing I really stress is to clients, to friends, everyone is, preparation and think, I'm a professional, all my clients are professionals. And so I don't just wing court, right? A doctor doesn't wing a surgery. You're prepared. And so the same should be with your image. You should think about it. How do I want to look? How do I want to present? What do I want people to think when they think of me? Do they want to see someone who's wearing something wrinkled and like she just threw herself together? Or do they want to see someone polished and that, oh, she's going to take time for my case if she takes time for her
Uh-huh.
appearance?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So that's what I mean when you say dress for the life you deserve. What are those things you want? And how do you envision getting that? And what do you need to look like? And it's not a vanity thing. That's what I really try to stress to people. When you care about your image, it's not about vanity, but studies have shown that improved self-image leads to higher self-confidence and higher self-esteem. So while it might be an external thing, it's really internal as well. And I think even more important that it's internal. So if you feel good about your image, then you feel good mentally if you feel good about that person staring back at you. So I think it's just, how do you want to feel about yourself and then look that way. Put in the extra 2 minutes to steam something, right? To actually look and feel that polished boss that you want to be. That's all it means. It's embody the things that you want to be and how you want to be portrayed. That's how I see it.
I love that. And I one of the things that you said that really kind of resonated with me is I'm all about my reputation in my head, right? It's not what other people see right? When I walk out of a room, I want my reputation to, I want it to be the outro and I want it to be the intro. Oh, she's coming. You know what to expect from me because this is how I present myself and not in a patronizing way and it isn't in a placating way, right? Like like when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, am I going to be Hollywood? Am I going to be goth? Am I going to be like which part of that am I pulling? And or do I want to do something a little bit together? Am I changing because I want to see that for myself. And if someone else likes it, thank you so much. I appreciate that. But I need that synergy for me. I want to be able to feel like, oh, this is the best version of me today. Because it may look different tomorrow. Like just once you add in wigs, everything else is just insanity. Like it just is for me. Like my wigs used to match my clothes. I was like, Lee, you gotta find the style you like and wear it once a week. Like 1 week you wear this whole style. I still work on it. I'm still working on it, Lay. I'm still working on it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes, wigs can totally transform any look. So I love that.
I love that. So give us three tips about not just so building confidence, but 3 tips that you tell your clients that's just like aside from the outfit that they have on that you really try to instill into them when they become a client of yours.
Okay, 3 tips. I would say, because I'm always thinking about budgets and money and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
So I would
yeah.
always
No.
say, when it comes to shopping and things you're looking for, I always stress looking for versatile pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're a professional. A lot of us had kind of our work clothes and then our like play clothes. But I always stress try and pick items that can work for both.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because a lot of times, since that's how most of us were trained to have this kind of work wardrobe and our casual wardrobe, you would be surprised the things that you bought for one reason that can really work for the other.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll give you an example. I bought this like zebra print halter top and I wore it in New Orleans with like yellow faux leather shorts. It was like spring. And then last year, one of the charity events I went to, the beneficiary was the zoo, and they said the dress code was animal print. And so I repurposed that kind of fun casual top and I wore it with slacks and a hot pink blazer and some metallic silver shoes, metallic bag. And then it was perfectly appropriate for that event, a
Mm-hmm.
professional event.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing I definitely stress to professionals is just think outside the box sometimes and I would say number 2, don't be afraid to experiment.
Yeah.
And right, so something you thought, oh, I might just wear it this way, like try it with different pants or different shoes or different accessories and see about that. And I would say number 3 is to be open. So
Yeah.
a lot of times people think, oh, that just won't work for me, like one item, right? And they don't, it's kind of arbitrary why they're saying it. And they just think like, oh, that doesn't work for my body type or whatever. But I will tell you, if you are open to trying things, it's usually beneficial. And one
Mm-hmm.
example I will give is a ton of people are afraid of jumpsuits, a ton of women. And I actually was afraid of them for a while too, because I'm 4'10" and a half. I'm curvy, and I always was seeing them on, tall,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
thinner
Mm-hmm.
individuals. And I thought, oh, okay, that's not going to work for me. But one summer, Old Navy had a bunch and they all fit me. They didn't have to get them hemmed and they look great and I still have them. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I can wear jumpsuits. And so that is something I always will recommend to clients who have not tried one before. And inevitably, they love them. You just have to find the cut, the materials, the brands that work for you. So I would say get versatile pieces, don't be afraid to experiment, and then also be open to things you might have been closed off to in the past.
I love all of those because that would be my absolutely top 3 because that openness it really creates I think sometimes it unlocks a certain part of you, the adventurous part of you that you may have left behind when you got kind of get corporate. And I think that sometimes it's what people remember you for, right? Because you can kind of get washed into the group where you don't stand out anymore. And each individual person, you're so unique that allowing yourself to wear the lavender shirt or allowing yourself to wear the fuchsia colored turtleneck, like giving yourself permission to just really like, oh, I would never do that, but why? Who told you you couldn't do it?
Right.
Because a lot of the times that's what we heard. We heard you shouldn't wear that. You wouldn't look good in that. But that's really the person who told you that. That's their idea of themselves. So just remember that. Just
Absolutely. And same with color, like you're saying, Lovely. Yeah, color people are kind of shying away from, but that same gala, I go to this gala, it's a Young Lawyers Gala, and I go every year. And one year I wore an all green suit with like a corset underneath. It was still very professional, but that's how I thought I wanted to be that, for that event. And everyone else, yeah, might be wearing kind of the grays and the navies and whatever, and the cocktail dresses. But for me, a short suit was what I felt was authentic to me, still professional, but showed my personality. So yes, I'm with you on that for sure.
yeah, no. So tell people how to reach you because I really honestly like, I think when I reached out to Lay, let me say this. I said it to another lady. I was like, not sure if she would be receptive because I know that we're in this era of another podcast. Like, what is it really about? You know what I mean? But I'm so big on having conversations about ways for us to heal not only connection, but to teach each other and to let each other know that you're not by yourself. Like, there are other avenues to figuring it out. And fashion is a huge way of self-expression and really helps with your mental health. So that's how that bridge really kind of stepped into that. And I was like, maybe she'll say yes, maybe she'll say no. We'll see what happens. I don't know. But yes, tell people how to reach you and just what like let them know that they don't have to be afraid.
Right. So yes, you do not have to be afraid. Be bold, be confident. And you can reach me several ways. So on Instagram at LeyAllDay, LeyAllDay. You can go to LeyAllDay.com, check out my website. And on the website, there is a book tab. And if you ever want to do just a free 15-minute call with me, you just click that book and do a call with me. And you can also call me. I can give my number as well. So if you ever reach out to me, and then you can shoot me an email to layallday@gmail.com. So there's lots of ways to reach me. Call me, DM me, email me. I am always happy to help with if it's the most serious thing or the quickest question, what matches what. I'm always happy to help. And it, like I said, it's very fun for me.
Yes, and I love this. And I love the fact that you are turning this into a business. And I love how serious you are about turning this into a business because I think that the things that bring us joy, we sometimes stay away from because we're afraid that somehow we're going to taint that. But like we have one life. Like and this is what we know right now to be true. And I'm so proud of you for stepping out and giving us some color here in the DMV cuz look, I can't be the only person walking around in yellow. I need to see some more yellow out here. It just makes me so happy.
You look fabulous in it.
Thank you. And I love your smile and your confidence. And I love that you're helping other people find that in themselves. And I'm just so grateful that you did the podcast today. I honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so, so much for being a part of the podcast.
Thank you for having me, for asking me. It's been a joy, and I'm honestly honored that I get to just talk about something I love with another woman who loves what she's doing. And so I just want to say I'm proud of you for, following your path as well and the balance that we're doing. Because as if people don't know, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of investment, it's a lot of our time, our sweat, our money, and you all see the finished product. And so what goes into all of this is a lot. So lovely. I thank you. And I love that you've done this podcast. And thank you so much for having me. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye. So, guys, what did I say? Great podcast. We had to talk to not only is she now a CEO and she never thought she would be a CEO, She's instilling confidence and resilience and teaching people about self-worth and self-esteem through fashion. We have this idea that fashion sometimes somehow makes you conceited, or it makes you a bit of a snob. And you can be a snob if you want to, as long as you aren't hurting anybody else, right? But what we're doing with fashion in this sense is really understanding that Lay wants to help you create the you that you may not have ever been introduced to. She wants to help you see you through your own eyes in a way that you've never seen yourself. Or she wants to reintroduce you back to you. And I feel like for me, that is the biggest compliment. On top of the fact she has such a beautiful style and such a beautiful smile and a beautiful heart. And that to me is the kind of person that I want to style me, because that's styling from the inside out. So I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. Remember, please like, share, and subscribe, because we want to build this community, right? We're here supporting each other. We're making things better for each other. Plus, we get to be stylish, right? We never know what kind of hair I'm going to have for the next podcast. Y'all be good. I'll talk to you soon. Lovely out. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you found some healing, connection, and joy. Until next time, bye, loves.